We are the Capital Stage Apprentice Corps for the 2015 to 16 season. I am Jessie.
I'm Tiffany.
I'm Sarah.
I'm Alex.
I'm Morgan.
And I'm Jacob. And we're here to tell you about the Apprentice Showcase of Subculture by Steve Yockey.
Every year, Capital Stage allows their apprentices to produce their own show.
We take everything we've learned throughout the season and put it into this one presentation.
We take on roles in business, design, and performance.
Subculture will follow select performances of BLACKBERRY WINTER, and it opens March 25th and closes April 11th.
Performances are free, but donations are greatly appreciated.
To get more information, you can
Head to the box office.
Or go to our website.
At capstage.org/subculture.
Hope to see you there!
I moved up here to go to Sac State. I graduated almost a year ago, and rewarding. It's been tiring, it's been exhausting, it's been eye-opening. I realized in this apprenticeship my weaknesses, but I've also realized strengths, and I realized that it's okay to have those weaknesses because you have people around you who are willing to support you and teach you. And I've grown more comfortable with myself, I think, through this program. I believe subculture is about everyday people. It's about everyday people and everyday struggles. What I really like about it is that it's not heightened. There's no theatrical element to it. It's raw. It's who we are. It's raw. It's there. It's real. And I think that's what's really interesting about it. It's people trying to connect with other people. It's you trying to become more comfortable with yourself. It's struggles that we all deal with, that we all either try to hide or we try to push it away, but it forces us to look at who we are and what we're struggling with in a very real way. My favorite piece to do is Kiss and Tell. Just because it's so fun. It's a group of people playing truth or dare. We're all hiding out drinking. We're being rebellious kids, and that's just always fun to play. My favorite one to watch is Lonesome, because I think there's something very pure about Lonesome, and it's very sweet, and I think it stands out.
I first got my AA at Sac City Community College, and then I transferred to Sac State and got my degree in theater there with a minor in dance. There's so much I've learned. I got to learn a lot about marketing, stagecraft, and how much work goes into design, not just in stagecraft, but sound and lighting, and how important it is for people to communicate, to get the ideas from paper onto stage. It's the whole group working together. I wrote something, Morgan would edit it. Tiffany took on the postering idea, came back to us drafts, we all decided collectively on, like, oh, we like this one. And it's just all of us working together. Subculture is about people, like real people, and real issues. It's awesome because it has its light moments and then it takes a twist, and it's something, when we were reading it, we didn't expect for the twist to happen. And we're like, oh, this is so interesting, and it fits Capital Stage. It's so bold and it's weird and bizarre, but it's real. We decided back in November, like, this is a play we're doing. So from November until now, it's been all work on this one show. My favorite one to be in would have to be Lonesome, because it has real issues in a different setting. It's not right now, it's in an alternate right now. And it's these two men trying to figure out their relationship in a world that's so different from ours. And it's very sincere and genuine, and I really love it. My favorite one to watch, it would have to be Dizziness and Loss of Breath, because Morgan and Sarah do such a great job with those characters, and they embody them so well. The drunk girl thing, I can't, it's just awesome. I love it. I designed all the costumes. It was a long process. I've been doing it for about 2 months, or a month and a half at least. I got a lot of the resources from a clothes closet downtown Grandma Ellen's Touch of Love clothes closet. And it was great because they have so many different pieces and so much, and it took a lot of digging, but I would find things and I'd be like, oh my, this is perfect. I love this. This is gonna work on somebody. I don't care who it is. The costumes came out so well. Like with just that one resource, I was so happy. The most rewarding thing I feel that we're getting from this is being able to create something together. Not only are we acting, but we're doing design and we're doing marketing and we're doing budgeting and we're trying to figure out the business side of theater as well. And we're all experiencing this as a group. And yeah, we'll go and work on other theaters or do other things in the future, but we'll always have like this moment where we got to create this one thing together. And I just love that.
I'm from the East Coast, really far from here. I came just for this apprenticeship because it sounded awesome, and I like theater a lot. I was a directing major in college. I like it. I like dealing with the whole play and thinking about it in that big way, and then letting it go when it's time for performance. I think it's been a challenge, but a wonderful challenge. I think when you work with these kinds of people on this kind of piece, you're gonna have a good time. It's the collaboration, which I heard Sarah say earlier, but it's true. It's what everybody brings in, and knowing that you wouldn't have what you have without everybody's voice making it. It's more, the whole, the thing is more than the sum of its parts. That saying, where, you know, I'm the director, but there are millions of things they put into every aspect of this production, things I never would have thought of. And as soon as you cut off that communication, I think your piece is less. And so I think you'll see this piece and you'll know it's us. We made this. No other group of people would have made this the way we made this. And that's what I love, and that's what I consider a success. I would describe subculture as messed up, is what I would describe it as. It feels so real to me. I think that's the first thing that struck me when I read it, is real people dealing with real stuff, and sometimes it's really, really screwed up. And that reminds me of the world around me all too often these days. And I like that sometimes you have to face that, you know. Things aren't great. Sometimes horrible things happen, and how are you gonna go past that? How are you gonna move past the disconnect and connect with somebody? I love them all. This is true. Choosing between my children. I'm really fond of stop motion. I have been from the beginning, which is the piece about music and the way music makes you feel. And of course it spirals out of control a little bit, but like Steve Yockey's short plays tend to do. But in that, you know, when you're part of something and connected with people because of this one thing, this one emotion that you get from a song that you can't even get from words, but his words tell it better than any I've heard prior in terms of describing music. I'm stoked about it. I like them all. Kiss and Tell I think is a group favorite because it's so crazy and the acting is great. There's not a one I don't like. I think the best thing about Steve Yockey is whenever he's you know exactly where he stands. He's always just there, just him, just exactly what he thinks, and he's never gonna shield you from that, and he's never gonna beat around the bush or, you know, he's just there. I think that's wonderful, and he was really great. I mean, that he made the time to come see us and gave us some really fantastic notes and feedback, and as soon as we tried some of them, you were just like, oh, of course, thank you, Steve Yockey. He knows his work, what can I say? The thing that amazes me about this Apprentice Corps is like their dedication to keep going, to keep going, and we'll work 1,000,000 hours a week and do so much, and they'll still be there at 10 o'clock at night to give me their all in rehearsal. And I check in maybe even too much about that. But even when we talked about last week, which was the crossover week with BLACKBERRY Winter, I was like, how many nights do we feel we can rehearse? And everybody said, all of them. Everybody. With how much we're doing, it's astounding to see how much we're capable of, how far you can push yourself, and how much you can just trust that we're gonna get in here and we're gonna do what we can, and then we're gonna move on. And something awesome is gonna come out of it, and I see it growing every day, and it's beautiful. It makes me really happy.
I was born and raised in Sacramento. I went high school here, and then I went to community college at American River College. I fell back into theater there, decided why not, let's major in it in college. But I transferred to UC Berkeley, and I majored in theater and performance studies there. And then I applied for lots of apprenticeships, decided, you know, there's a few that I got into, but Cap Stage was the best one because it was everything, and I really wanted to learn. I wanted to get out of an academic setting and move into a more professional setting and really hone in on what I enjoy and what aspects of theater I love most. Especially because I learned so much in school that I loved it all, but can't do it all. So I really wanted to figure out what I liked the most. It was pretty great that Steve Yockey was here for BLACKBERRY Winter, but also made time for us and was very happy to do so. And he was so excited. I think he really enjoyed it, and it was really great having him here because he gave us some really helpful feedback, especially because we're still building the show. So we got constructive criticism and compliments, and it helps us, it prepares us for opening. He was just a lovely presence to have around in the theater, and one that does, you know, for us apprentices, we couldn't have asked for anything more perfect to have the play right here. Subculture is the Apprentice Showcase. It was really hard to pick a showcase piece, and this one seemed to be great because we found a character that fit all of us, and we were able to match the actors to the play, which usually you pick a play and then you get the actors. We had to do it a different way, so Subculture was great because we found something that fit all of us. One of my favorite characters that I play is probably in stop motion when I play kind of like a rocker girl, just because it's very far from who I am, but it's a fun person to be for just a little bit. And just to throw it out there, my favorite character or to watch would probably be all three characters in Kiss and Tell. They're like my three favorite. That's my favorite scene to watch. So not only do I get to act, but I get to sound design, which is really great because in college I had to choose a technical class of sound design or stage management, and they're in the same semester at the same time, and I had to pick one or the other, and I chose stage management. And I didn't regret that decision, but I always wanted to do sound as well, and this has given me the opportunity to work on sound. Ed Lee, our sound designer and operator who works at Capitol Stage all the time, has been graciously giving me a lot of help and tips and pointers, and it makes it a lot of fun when you have people who are helping you and they're excited, and then it makes me excited. Jesse Field, our director, picked out most of the projections, and so now I'm able to layer in the projections and the sound together, which is really great to actually build the show from nothing. In the beginning of the process, Morgan Summer and I were kind of the two little stage manager, production managers, and now for the actual show we have Kevin, who's a former apprentice, and it's really great that we can bring the apprentices, current, past, all together. Everyone can come together and still support each other. So, shout out to Kevin, the stage manager. I think I've really learned what collaboration is and what it means and how much I love it, and how you really see how shows aren't just one person coming in telling you what to do and then leaving. It's us working together, and especially with the showcase, what we've learned from all our peers at Capitol Stage, now we've learned to put it all together and all work together as a team. It's interesting because we're all designing and creating and administering. We're all doing it together, and I think my biggest lesson is how working with a team and all being equals in the group, and that's been really eye-opening and also incredible because I like collaboration. I like when you work together, you know, it's like a little family. You hate each other some days, you love each other others, and then when everything's finished and done, you can all sit back and relax and know that we put our heart and soul into it.
I am from Sacramento originally. After I graduated from high school, I went to school in the Monterey Bay area, where I actually didn't study theater. My story is a little different. But after I graduated, I came back to Sacramento, and I spent a summer at Music Circus as an intern and just fell back in love with it. I had only worked in very specific areas of theater, and what was so wonderful and what actually really attracted me to this apprenticeship was the generalist quality of it, because I knew I wanted to be involved in theater, but I wasn't 100% sure how I wanted to be involved in it. So I really enjoyed coming in and getting to experience, you know, the stagecraft aspect of it, and running the shows, working crew and working as an assistant stage manager, and then, you know, working on hanging the lights and painting the set and getting to perform, and all these little things that make up the bigger picture that I hadn't been able to experience before. So it's been a real learning opportunity for me to not only gain a bunch of skills, but also to really start to focus down myself on the areas that I'm actually interested in working in the future. It's about real life, but it's also about real people who sometimes find themselves in extraordinary situations, be that positive or negative. It's also about the struggle to connect, or also those moments of connection, you know, finding your place where you really feel like you belong. So it's a range, which makes for a very interesting show, I think. What initially, part of the thing that drew me to it was the raw quality of it, was the dark comedy aspect, these twists that you don't expect. So it was really helpful for it to be a series of short plays, because we had 5 people in our apprentice group who were interested in acting, and it's difficult to find a way to showcase everyone when you have to pick a play based on the actors. And so it worked out really well to have these short plays that were written for people our age, because that was one challenge, is that, you know, we are all in our early to mid-20s, and it's hard to find a lot of pieces that are written specifically for people our age who have the right number of, you know, male parts, female parts, because I really enjoy them all for different reasons. One of the ones I enjoy being in the most is Every Little Thing, and mainly it might be because that is the piece that I can personally connect to the most. Maybe not the character I'm playing in it, but the main theme in that is really a struggle for connection, feeling very disconnected from the world. And I think we all have our moments, and especially in an age of technology, you can find it really difficult to connect. My other major task for this show was to be the lighting designer, which has been a really interesting experience. It's been a learning curve, mostly because of the technology involved, but also because you don't think of how much goes into creating a lighting design. It's been a really interesting experience for us as a group to work together. It's been really positive, and we honestly have found a way to work together quite well for the amount of time that we have to spend in very close quarters with one another. But in that way, I think we've been able to like figure out how to work as a team, also figure out how to work as individuals, how to work together. It's really been an interesting growing experience in that way. But also I think we've just kind of become really close as a group because we've had to work towards this common goal for so long. So I think maybe for me that's the most rewarding aspect, is like you really created this with your group of peers, and we really get to own it. It's ours.